Claw Viper is one of the fastest robots. Let me rephrase that. Claw Viper is the fastest robot here. This season, speed has become a weapon. Kevin, really my first question would be, how fast is Claw Viper?
So our top speed ends up being about 20 miles an hour, but the trick is we accelerate up to that speed in about 6.5 or 7 feet.
Let the bot battle, before I can even get the word out, begin, there goes Claw Viper.
The Battlebots is only 48 feet wide, so yeah, that is pretty damn quick. So you're having a tremendous season compared to past seasons. What do you attribute that to?
We beefed up the drive system. So we ended up adding a lot more magnet to the robot, so it pulls it down to the battle box floor. The same way a Formula 1 car uses aerodynamics to hold it to the track, we use magnets to hold this to the floor, and it lets us have a lot more control of the robot.
That's awesome. I like the pattern you chose and how you're holding down the magnets.
Yeah.
I'm assuming these are deeply pocketed, like so the magnet is within a 1/16 of an inch or a 32nd of an inch of this layer.
Yep, they're about 1 millimeter behind that layer. And these are actually designed for two things. One is we get the magnet as close to the ground as we're comfortable with for the ride height. The other is that when they get hit, there's a clearance hole in the floor of the robot. So they get hit, they go up into the robot. And it's covered in an adhesive up there so that the magnets will shatter, they'll go up into the robot, they don't go down. So that keeps me from getting stuck on my own magnets. A lot of builders will always ask, oh, what happens if you're going to get stuck on something? The way these are designed, little bits and pieces, bolts, pieces of metal, they will stick to it. But what happens is they slide off, and then they end up being magneted to the edge, so I don't get stuck on it. It has to be a pretty big piece to get stuck on it, the way these are. The one downside of these is that I have found that chain I will get stuck on. Because chain will like to coil up, and I can't drive off of that. Right. That's why we have belts, is because I'm worried, weird things happen in the battle box.
They always do.
Yep. So if we lose a chain, I'm already gonna have trouble driving. If it gets stuck on a magnet, I'm done. So we run belts, so if we lose a belt, doesn't matter.
You have a great lifting mechanism too. I mean, you have a small model here. You want to walk us through that?
Sure. So it's a compound mechanism. So the only thing powered on the robot for the lifter is the top jaw. When the top jaw bottoms out, it turns it into a lever between these 2 points that then lifts it up, like that. So what that lets us have is a lot more robust clamping and lifting mechanism. If you think about a robot like Overhaul, he's got a clamper that has a separate motor, but it's exposed. It's on the outside of the robot. And unfortunately, it ends up getting damaged and falling out a lot. So we took inspiration from that and watched his previous seasons and said, let's have a clamper that can't fall out. So the
buried in his body.
Yeah. Right. It's buried all the way in the bottom. It's difficult to damage, but we have a clamper that just keeps working.
So with this new bot, it's obviously given you way more confidence because you've been doing so well, clearly. Do you feel that this will take you off into the 32?
Yeah, I think so. We're doing pretty well this season. We got a good shot at making the top 32, and the robot is doing what I tell it to. It's not drifting sideways, not going where I tell it to go. It's going where I tell it to go and just bullying the other robots, and it's a lot of fun to drive.
That obviously makes it a lot easier for you to be able to move forward in your bracket. So,
yeah.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I love this bot. It is so fast and so fun to watch.
Thank you, Pete.
Take care.